Living in Cornwall is a mix of beauty and difficulty. The landscape and the coast are incredible, and there's a unique sense of community in some areas. But it can also be tough. Work can be seasonal, wages are low, and access to services can be limited, especially if you're struggling with mental health or need specialist support.
I've recently moved to Cornwall, and what I think living in Cornwall is like is a much higher quality of life compared to some other areas. Living in Cornwall for me means that I've kind of escaped a lot of the burdens of living up north where I'm from, and it also means that I can have some kind of fresh start.
Cornwall is a beautiful place, especially the sea and the coastlines, always near the countryside too. But I can feel isolating at times and so far away from family and friends. Access to services can be a real challenge. There's a lot of community spirit here, though people do look out for each other. Still, I think there's a lot that goes unseen, especially when it comes to poverty, mental health, and support for people trying to rebuild their lives.
I wish that people knew more about the community in regards to different charities, and I wish people knew that there is so much that you can access, and I wish that people knew that there was such a supportive community around. I also think that I'd want people to know about this community as something that is non-prejudice, and and I wish that people knew that people with convictions are not always the stereotypical thug. It'd be nice for people to understand rather than judge.
When people think of Cornwall, they often picture stunning coastlines, quaint villages, and holiday destinations. But what many don't see is the challenge our spread out population creates for those who've been through the criminal justice system or been affected by it. I wish people knew that beneath Cornwall's picturesque surface, there's a community of volunteers working quietly but determinedly to ensure no one falls through the cracks. Connect Communities isn't just an organisation, it's a lifeline, a family, a powerful force for good that transforms lives on both sides of the equation.
I wish people understood how complex and varied experiences can be in Cornwall. There's a strong sense of resilience here, particularly among those who have faced challenges like unemployment, mental health struggles, addiction, or the criminal justice system. But there's also a lot of isolation, and support isn't always easy to access. People often assume Cornwall is just a holiday destination, but for those who've lived here, especially outside of peak season, there are real struggles with jobs, housing, and opportunities. Community support makes a huge difference, but it's not always enough.
Being heard is so important. When you don't feel like people understand you, they don't know where you're coming from, they don't see you the same. When you are listened to and understood without being judged, you feel seen.
As a kind of queer neurodivergent addict, I have a lot going on, and I think at points in my life, I've used that, or the world has used that, or I felt the world has used that against me. And I feel like at Connect, and particularly working with Nikki and in the volunteering team, I really feel as if my lived experience is valued.
To me, what it means to be heard is to feel validated and to feel like someone has actually acknowledged and taken what I've said into account. I feel like with someone with experience of the criminal justice system and poor mental health, um, it's often it's often that we get shunned or feel like we're always going to be the one that's in the wrong somehow. So to feel heard and empathized to is really, 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 really helpful.
Yeah, I mean the group that we've built thus far, and the MO of lived experience within that is immensely valuable to someone like me. Having someone like Nikki as my line manager has just been transformative.
To be heard means more than just having someone to listen. It's about feeling understood and valued. It's when someone takes the time to really engage with what you're saying without judgment or rushing to fix things. In my experience, especially in conversations about mental health and personal challenges, being heard can be the difference between feeling invisible and feeling like you matter. It's about genuine connection, where your words aren't just acknowledged, but also respected.